Welcome everybody to the new episode of the Podcast. Hope you're all having a great day. My name is Draconis. Joining me today is Jari.
Hello.
And Guren. We traded in Glenn for Guren. Better model.
Yup.
And today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Legends Arceus. We're going to be giving our first thoughts on this game, our initial thoughts on our playthrough, as well as after hours of playing, what we think of the game. Starting off, we're going to be talking about our very first impressions of the game when we first saw the trailer drop and Pokemon Legends Arceus was originally announced.
I think I can speak for everybody when I say this, but like everybody would definitely believe Pokemon Breath of the Wild. You know, like it just kind of had that vibe. Like I think we were people were hoping for that open world experience. I think the first trailer kind of showed it to them. I definitely couldn't say the graphics are like speaking to me as well when I first saw that trailer, but you know, as with first initial trailers and reveals, usually the gameplay is not as it seems, or is not what the final product's going to be like. But being an open world game, just from looking at it, kind of got me like half and half.
I was really hyped in the beginning. Still am. I like the feel with like Breath of the Wild. It wasn't the best, but it's the first game like this. If this continues, it will get better and better.
Yeah, I've got to admit, when I first saw that trailer, I knew it was rough. I knew it was going to need a lot of fixing, but I also knew that there was something that recorded a couple of weeks to months earlier for editing purposes and getting something together. I have an art background, so I went into school for computer animation, so of course there's certain little things that I do know have to happen for things like this, but I saw the potential and I started getting really hyped for this game, more so than any other Pokemon game I've come across. I kind of felt like Sword and Shield was trying to do this, but didn't accomplish the same thing. But seeing that trailer for the first time, I kind of was really hopeful. Really hopeful. So moving along, what were your first impressions of, say, the first 2 hours of playing this game?
It was really good, especially in the beginning when Arceus talks to you and says things and all, and you fall in and you get into the past. And the rest is a precious tutorial, right? And the catching, it was really decent. I really liked it. It was lots of fun. I think it was a little bit too long, but it's fine.
Honestly, I was not expecting for my character to become an isekai protagonist, technically speaking. Like when you first start speaking to Arceus and then you see your character wearing the very casual clothes, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get sent to another place, aren't I? That part of the story aside, when I first jumped into the game, it was just everything looked good. It looked a lot better than I was expecting. The tutorial was delightful. I myself felt very nerve-wracking and like clunky at the controls because because it was just so different. Because usually you're on your console, your DS or your Switch, and you're just mashing like the A button or something to like throw a Pokeball, use an item, whatnot. But then instead you're using like the ZR buttons and the ZL buttons to like throw your Pokeballs. So that was a very interesting experience. It felt a little bit more interactive that way. As far as that goes, the rest of my next 2 hours playing that game was just, if it wasn't part of the tutorial, it was just going around, finding as much Pokemon as I can, throwing Pokeballs at it, trying to be as stealthy as I can to try and catch them. And I don't know, like as soon as that happened, bam, like those 2 hours just went by real fast. I think this game was definitely refreshing for me, and I just want to play more.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I saw the whole isekai thing started, and I'm like, I've seen this anime before. I've seen this one. You can't trick me. I know how this ends. And like Jari, I also thought that the tutorial session was just a little too long. But, you know, that's going to happen with a new game. You've got some people who are used to, some people who just want to jump into the mix, and some who, let's face it, this is the first time the Pokemon community has been able to do an active catch system. So we, of course, needed a whole extended tutorial just to make sure that we understood that there's a ton of mechanics and a lot of things to take into account when we're catching Pokemon now. And once I got into it, once I was starting into my second hour, there was no Pokemon safe from my throwing arm. Let's just put it that way. So after playing several hours of this game, what are your overall thoughts for this game as a whole? Did you find the game fun? Are you finding issues? Like, what is your overall impression of the game? What do you find lacking? Little things that probably need a little fix here and there.
So open world aspect, like I said earlier, it's 50-50 for me. After playing it a little bit more though, it got a little bit better, maybe like 60-40. The first mount you get is like really well into the beginning part of the story. Maybe like, depending on how you're playing, of course. So maybe like after the first 2 hours of playing, you finally get your first mount. And like that really helps with traversing through the world, through the first area in general. But then when you get back to the village, this is like where one of my gripes start coming in. You can't mount the Pokemon that you have there as well, which I guess makes sense because it's a village, right? Maybe they don't want like some guy just using random Pokemon just riding up in there, you know. But even though it's like it still takes forever to walk somewhere. Yes, there's those fast traveling options, but like sometimes it's not enough for me personally. Like especially like in that middle area in the village, there's no fast travel icon there. Like I would have to go through like either the Galaxy building or the other stuff, and then I gotta walk down there still. Like can I get like a quick travel there? Maybe not, but the request system, like I know request system is kind of a staple in games like this, but some of them are kind of tedious. Let's start off with like one of the very first ones, that Weasel mission. You gotta go through a lot of Weasels sometimes before you get the one that you're looking for. And that one took me about another hour or two to do because I didn't know where to like find a bigger spawn of them. I think that one can be tidied up a little bit, but not overall not too bad. Some of them are actually kind of easy. What do I like about the game? I think it's just going around and finding a new Pokemon that I haven't caught yet. It's really something like when you see something out in the wild and then you're just like, oh, I gotta catch it, or even like or it's something that you need for your Pokemon. Like just the other night, I was running on my weird deer to the area that I'm in. I passed by a Togepi. I didn't even know that was a Togepi at first. Like chat literally had to tell me, dude, you just passed by a Togepi. I'm like, what? So I went to go turn around. I messed up on catching it. I threw a berry for it to eat, and then when I threw the Pokeball, I think I offshot it by a little bit, and then the thing got scared and it ran away and it disappeared. And I was like, damn, I didn't even save before.
I did the same thing. Same thing with Togepi too. I did it with Happiny.
With Happiny?
I never explored that part.
I was just so sad. I'm like, no. So that's another thing too. Like sometimes Pokemon will just spoof you, and then you're like, oh, there it is. I gotta get this. Just guys, don't forget to save, especially if you're like me and you turn off autosave, or you forget to turn back on your autosave because you're shiny hunting. But yeah, make sure you save. But
I mean, I shiny hunted for Pikachu and I saved, and Pikachu was gone.
It was gone.
I shiny Pikachu, so.
See, that's the thing, guys. Like, it's cool too. Like, that's another, I think, good thing too. Like, they do show the shinies like in the overworld now, and you do kind of get like a small notification which shows that there is one in the area. So that's pretty good on their part. Overall, though, the gameplay mechanics does get some getting used to. Like, I think if you're good, you'll probably get it down in like an hour. Or if you're like me and you still accidentally throw Pokeballs at the mining areas instead of the actual Pokemon, then it's still gonna take a while. But overall, I think the game is definitely something a Pokemon fan should pick up, whether or not they believe that it's not like the regular franchise. It's like it's a refreshing breath of air to play this game.
I think there are not too many side quests. I mean, like, I've got around 90 side quests. I think it's needed to be more, not enough, I think. And if we get the DLC, we might get a lot more. I'm hoping for that. I didn't think we had enough Pokemons for this game. The same as claim with riding around and all in a village. Really annoying. I mean, like, these kind of things are so small. It's not really that we used to do in the past with Sword and Shield. Then again, it's really amazing that we can complain and talk about these things. I would have done this with Sword and Shield.
So to start off with, I'm going to start with my nitpicks. There were little things. Number one, the grass gets a little glitchy on me from time to time, where I'm in a battle and all of a sudden, the grass I'm standing in is fading in and out. And it starts driving me a little batty because I'm seeing this happen, and it worries me like, oh my god, is my game going to crash? Another thing that I noticed that kind of irked me was if you've got a character that is just inside of your render range, say a specific Gyarados that is not swimming in the water, the movement that it has is the same kind of movement as the Chilang did in the original announcement trailer. That is that really rough up-down motion. But as it draws closer, it smooths out, so it just feels like this game might have some optimization issues. And the one big nitpick that I actually do have is you cannot travel to a new area without going back to the town. So if I want to go from the Obsidian Fields to, say, the Crimson Mire, I have to go to Jubilife City first. I can't just go from the Obsidian Fields to the Crimson Mires or back. That in itself drives me insane because I don't want to have to go zone to zone again. That said, this game has a nice challenge to it, and I love this. I'm in here, I'm crafting Pokeballs of all kinds. I am throwing berries. I am trying to catch things, beat things. The fulfilling of the Pokedex is as tedious as it is. It's also fun enough that it keeps me engaged to the point where once I fulfill that dex page that I'm aiming to fill, it's so satisfying. And I do have a question, though, guys. I do have a question. What side quests? What side quests are you talking about? There's side quests in this game? I hit the field that I just started catching. I'm not even talking to anybody. Well, maybe the one guy who's got the,
I've done all the side quests. I'm already done.
Jeez.
Well, the only thing I've done was talk to the dude with the Wurmple.
Oh,
And then I saw Austin John's video about how you can turn in shiny alphas. And now I kind of want to do another playthrough where I'm catching nothing but shiny alphas so that I can get that shiny alpha Wurmple and just hand it to him.
That's going to take a long time.
I know. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really appreciate this game. I really appreciate everything that the team that did this, I do feel would be a great step for mainline games if GameFreak and Pokemon Company actually took this frame and applied it to future generations. This was a really solid game for me. Like I said, I just burned through 25 hours for myself, and I'm still in the first zone. Like, I went far enough to get a couple of the Pokemon rides that help, but then I went right back to the first zone so I can start working on that dex. I'm not even caring about the story. I'm having way too much fun just completing this dex.
Are you perfecting everything?
Not everything, actually. I'm aiming specifically for the base starter that I can find so that I can evolve it up all through all the stages. But my goal is to have a shiny alpha dex.
Yeah, same. I'm doing the same.
Oh, to be fair as well, I myself am trying to get research level 10 on every single Pokemon. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I have already like 159.
10. Man, I'm perfecting all those certain pages. Like, I'm working on Scyther at the moment and Eevee. So now we're going to move into some numbers, and it's just to show how amazing this game has been received, I think, overall by the Pokemon community. Like, there's memes out there now that are saying, stop having fun. This game is that much fun for me anyway. I don't choose to speak for anybody else. You have outlets like IGN who reported that Pokemon Legends Arceus is selling faster than mainline Switch games. It's outpacing Sword and Shield, Diamond and Pearl. They sold 6.5 million copies in the first week of release.
That's insane.
And according to Famitsu, 1.425 million copies of Pokemon Legends Arceus sold in 3 days.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, you don't see a lot of games like breaking 1 million in like a few days,
Yeah, I also saw Spain sold like 140,000, I'm pretty sure, a new record.
It's in 4th place in England for physical sales.
Yeah.
Now, and I want to talk about that for a second. When you're talking about physical sales, the numbers that we're seeing, the place that Pokemon Legends Arceus actually holds is legitimate. Hear me out why. The other top 3 games for the top-selling Pokemon games in the UK for physical sales all have 2 versions. And the problem that I have here is Legends Arceus is not a 2 game. It's a single game. So here's the question. How accurate is this list when you think about it? You have Sun and Moon in first place, Sword and Shield in second, and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire in third. But people like myself may have bought more than one copy. So
Okay.
you've got those people who would normally buy both copies. If you combined, we don't have an actual number for that game. So like if Sun and Moon was released as one game, was Sword and Shield released one game, Alpha, Oras was released in one game, where would Legends actually land?
Above.
Would it be higher or lower? And I think it
First.
would be actually higher.
I agree. I think it would be first.
I feel like Sun and Moon shouldn't be first place. Like,
No,
as
I
someone,
think
as someone that's kind of happy about that it's based on where I live. I don't think that should be first place on this list, honestly.
No, I don't. I would agree. I would concur with you. Like, Oras should be higher up.
yeah, it's number one. I love that game.
And I can
So
understand
good.
why Sword and Shield would be up there as well. But I mean, it beat out Black and White, BDSP, X and Y, Let's Go, Pikachu Eevee, Pokemon Yellow. It beat out Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
That doesn't make sense.
And it is a single game. So this goes to show you how much people wanted this game.
We need to compare it to like other games. We can compare it to Pokemon games, I think. Yeah, Yellow is on the game. Yeah, right.
Yep. Yellow is in this on this list, and it is number 9 by comparison. So I do feel that if we were to see the actual number of actual players, individual players, I think Legends Arceus would actually be higher up. At the very least, I would say that the number 3 spot, or even the number 2 spot. I'm almost confident in saying that.
I'm confident it will be number 1, I think.
I mean, the word of mouth on this game alone has sparked people to buy it. Like, I got a friend of mine to pick it up, and they don't normally play Pokemon, but he picked this one up. But I mean, this game has so much potential, and it hit a lot of the right boxes. I mean, there's issues with this game. It's
These
not
are small issues.
Yeah, it's not a perfect game. However, it is still a very good game. And by far, probably one of the best, most refreshing games that GameFreak has pumped out in a long time. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can say this a lot too, but this is the game where like a lot of fans were hoping for, right? This open world Pokemon game. Because I think if you go to like any kind of like blog post or some kind of Twitter feed or something, they're all like, "Oh man, I really wish Pokemon could release some kind of open world game. That'd be totally cool." They did it with Legends and Arceus.
They listened to us. I mean, like that's what we wanted, right?
That's what the players wanted, or at least a big majority of the fan base wanted, or player base wanted.
It's not perfect, but it's fine.
This is what I was hoping Sword and Shield was going to be.
Imagine this in a new Gen 9. I mean, like Gen 9 might actually be between Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus.
Probably, but seeing how well this game did, I'm pretty sure that if not Gen 9, I think Gen 10.
Yeah, Gen 10 has the most potential, I think.
Yeah, of it being like this with how popular this game style has been. Like, this is really what the franchise needed to revitalize itself.
Mind if I throw in a speculation real quick, if that's all right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you know how Legends of Arceus, right? You're filling up the Pokedex for this region, right? And you gotta get like the research levels and whatnot to fill it up, so to speak, or to get it like at a full 100% completion. So either if it happens in Gen 9 or Gen 10, what I could see them doing is this region, the new region, is gonna be like also a brand new region. Like maybe people just settled down here regardless of how modern it is, but they don't know about the Pokemon that are living in this region. So what if they made us do almost this exact same thing, where you kind of have like, you have this aiming your Pokeball system, hiding in the bushes to catch these Pokemon and study them and whatnot. What if that's something that they incorporate into the next game?
Yeah, I mean, like if they do this in Gen 9 or 10, it will sell better than Legends Arceus.
I agree.
They will polish graphics more,
Yeah,
more Pokemons definitely, more
there's
shiny hunting, Overworld shinies. That's a dream.
That was a dream.
Now there is some rumblings about DLC coming down.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like it needs to happen. We need more Pokemon in the game. Depending if it releases in April, if it releases in November, it might be a big DLC.
DLC, personally, I feel like the game doesn't need DLC. I feel like it's okay, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't want DLC to happen. Because of how successful it has been so far, I feel like just adding DLC will make it even better, or at least for like the people that are playing or that are more or less done with the game. So I think that'd be good for them. Like maybe they'll add in, yeah, like what Yari is saying, more Pokemon. Maybe they'll add in a new area. Who knows? I mean, it could be like another mini like region to explore it, and there's like Pokemon from like let's say there's more Pokemon from like Johto, Alola,
So
and Hoenn. Galar. Yeah, I think Galar too. I haven't seen a Galar Pokemon yet. That could just be me though, but I don't think I've seen one yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you. DLC at this point, I don't think it's needed. This game's pretty solid on its own, but if it does happen, I'm not gonna say no. Especially if it's handled well.
at the end, it will make more money.
I
That
wonder how
might
much
be the
they're gonna
reason why they do that.
Well, they may also need the game to extend that a little longer if they're going to be a bit of time between this game and Generation 9. And with that, I hope you've all enjoyed our episode today on our review of Pokemon Legends Arceus. And please leave us a comment down below about what your favorite parts are for this game, if you plan on picking up this game, things that you might not like about this game. And also, please remember, like, share, subscribe. Let us know what that we're doing a good job here for you guys. And as always, have yourself a wonderful day. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, catch you guys later.